link. Okay, so last time, if you remember that we discussed about some part of the introduction and how SAP is working on that. So today we'll discuss about purely material management. Okay, so how many people know about material management? So what are the factors it will be there in the material management? What are the factors it is there in the material management? So what are the areas which will be covered in the material management?
Sir,
So if
like,
you see that sales and distribution, okay. So what are the areas will be covered? So majorly the sales people will be covering on that customer orders. They are handling customer orders, right? And moreover they are dealing with the deliveries, and moreover they're dealing with the billing. So the same kind of that material management also we have three areas. Okay. So when we're talking about the material management, so majorly these are the areas they are covered. What are the areas? One is purchasing, okay, or we can say procurement. So both are the same, procurement and purchasing. And the second thing is inventory management. Okay. And third one is invoice verification. So we can say invoice verification or vendor invoice verification. Okay. So if you are talking about the other areas like sales and distribution, production planning, so they have their own separate areas. Okay. So like in the material management, we have the purchasing and inventory and the inventory management and invoice verification. So they have the separate areas. Okay. So what do you mean by purchasing? What do you mean by purchasing?
Purchasing is basically the inward process wherein we are procuring goods from our vendors.
Okay. Okay. So when we're talking about the purchasing, so different kind of the purchasing activities will be there. So it is not easy. It is not easy a simple way like we just raising the order and we're getting the stock. So there are so many dealings with vendors. So we need to negotiate with vendors. So we have a different kind of the contracts, outline agreements. We have we have the separate discussion on the on price negotiations, standard price, and some kind of special stock procurements, which we have the special procedures which we have the procurement related. So it is not only simply like just creating the orders and getting the stock. So there's different other activities also which will be there. So that we will be dealing with the purchasing. Okay. So if you comparing this procurement purchasing related, okay. So the major aspects are all buying related aspects. Okay. So buying related, whatever it is required. Buying related, all the activities will be performed by this purchasing team, this procurement team. So what kind of this? So maybe long-term agreements, okay, and price negotiations, okay, and like delivery terms of delivery, okay, and Incoterms, okay, and if you have the suppose like freight related charges, freight charges, negotiation, okay, and tax related information, because different vendors from the different states, right? Again, the tax information will be there. So there are so many kind of the activities which we are performing in the purchasing. Okay. So when we're talking about inventory, okay. So here it is we're talking about especially the some topics like, okay, majorly on the agreements and price negotiations and terms of delivery, Incoterms and price. So majorly it is like the price. The best one is price and long-term agreements. So these two are the very important majorly. Okay. And the delivery terms of delivery and Incoterms, which will be like Incoterms. What do you mean by Incoterms? So delivery terms, I think you know already terms of delivery, right? So what do you mean by terms of delivery? Payment terms or maybe terms of delivery. Like, okay,
Yes, sir.
so if suppose payment terms are there, so what will be like payment terms? Okay, so within the if suppose I got the stock, so within 10 days if I paid, so the vendor is providing me some discount like 10% discount if I paid within the 10 days, right? So if I paid within the 20 days, then I can provide 5% discount. Okay, within 30 days if you paid, then I will not give you any discount for you. Okay, so some kind of a payment terms like that. Okay, and what do you remember Incoterms? What do you remember Incoterms? If suppose like the vendor is from the abroad, import vendor. Okay, if suppose the vendor is from import vendor, so what will be happen? There will be some condition like free on board. Okay, so if the client, if the vendor is accepting that free on board, what do you remember free on board? What do you remember free on board? Anyone have the idea? Free on board? So the goods which is supplying from the one country to other country, suppose let's say from another country to my country, if it is supplied, okay. So there must be some cost of for onboarding, right? So we have to be pay some Incoterm, some cost, custom duties, and onboarding related cost. Those everything will be there, right? So if I have the condition like free on board, that means when the vendor itself leave that, okay, they can take the charges whatever it is there, it is a cost of free. Okay, so that means from my company they no need to pay for the onboard, so it will be they dispatch into my location exactly where is the my onboarding point, wherever it is there, they dispatch that goods. Okay, if it is like CFR, cost freight related. Okay, so what will be happen here? So we have to be we have to pay some amount on this freight. That means so the vendor will not be responsible for this freight. So we have to be paid that amount, whatever it is extra amount which is getting stock into my onboarding place. Okay, maybe it's border. It's like maybe there are different kind of that, right? So we can get on the flight, maybe fly, or we can get on sea, okay, on road. So there are mode of transport, different mode of transports are there, right? So when there is a different kind of mode of transport, so if we say that free on board, then it's the vendor itself, they pay amount for that. Okay, they are taking that responsibility to dispatch the goods and getting into my location. Okay, but when it is like CFR, so what will be happen? Okay, we need to pay that amount to get the stock, whether it is a customs related or it maybe it is your onboard, it's like a transport related, whatever it may be, it's my cost. Okay, clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we talking about the purchasing, so we have the some special stock procurements are there. Okay, some special stock procurements are there. So like uh, the standard business process is procurement to pay process. Procurement to pay process. But other than this standard business process, as we discussed earlier, we have also some special procurement scenarios like consignment process, okay, subcontracting process, and pipeline process, okay, stock transport order process, okay, RTP, returnable transport packaging process, invoice plan. Okay, so there are different kinds of process are there. Okay, so these are all we will discuss in the procurement. It is a concept of the purchasing and procurement. Okay, and moreover, other than these special stock procurements and standard business process, what we will discuss other than this one, we'll also discuss that the negotiations. Okay, so the negotiations it will be like different vendors are there, multiple products they are distributing. So how we can negotiate that? Okay, and there are the multiple, if we have a multiple vendors, okay, how we can get the stock, how we can get the quotation, price quotation, and compare them, price comparison. So before creating purchase order, at before creating purchase order, okay, whatever the activities which is required, all these activities will be covered in the purchasing. Okay, so it may be the agreements also, or it might be the negotiations, or it may be the price fixing, or it might be the terms and conditions and incoterms discussions. Okay, so whatever it may be, okay, all it's related to, all it will come under the purchasing. Okay, so did you got that? What it will be covered in the purchasing?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
got it.
Okay, now coming to inventory, okay, inventory management and controlling, okay, so it is majorly stock related. Okay, so when we receiving the goods, okay, so when we talking about the stock related activities, okay, stock monitoring and controlling, okay, and handling, we can say handling as well. Okay, so when you receiving the goods, okay, how you are handling that stock, okay, how you are controlling that stock, how you are handling that monitoring the stock. Okay, so these all will come under the inventory. So what it will be, like, suppose, let's say, assume that I got the stock today, so I'm counting that stock. Okay, I'm placing into the my location, exactly where exactly I want to put the stock. That is I'm locating. Oh, okay, so there were some conditions like in my client, they're following that quality inspection. Okay, so when we receiving the stock, okay, it should be go to the quality inspection. Okay, so then I will just coordinate with the quality management team. Boss, we have received the stock, so can you do the some inspection check? Okay, so then they will do that inspection check and they will confirm that, okay, whether the stock is good or bad. In case if the stock is not good, so that what we'll do, whether either we will be block the stock or we will return the stock to the vendor, right? Yes or
Yes, sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
In case if it is inspection failed, we cannot sell that goods to the customer, right? We cannot use that product for production, right? So obviously, either what we need to do, we need to be block the stock, and or we will be returning that goods to the vendor. So there is a two cases, right? Again, so one is spoiled or damaged. Okay, or it may be incorrect product which we received. Okay, or it may be not as per the standard. Correct, correct or wrong? So
Yes, sir.
spoil and damage, we cannot return that goods because it's completely damaged. So or it's completely spoiled. So in that case, we can deal with the vendor. Boss, this product has completely spoiled. We'll be sending these images. So I cannot return this goods. If you want, you can take it back. Okay, or okay, we will not be return that. So that case, what we'll do, we'll scrap it this product, right? Can scrap it that product, or we can return that goods to vendor. In case if it is incorrect product, okay, so actually we ordered some product but we received different product. Okay, so again in this case, again the decision should be taken from the our company, so whether this product is it is really required for our requirement, or it is some other different purchase order, or it is the same purchase order. Okay, so that we will be discuss with our internally, and we'll discuss with vendor. Okay, if it is a different product, then we will return the goods. Okay, so we will return that goods. Okay, suppose as per the standard ISO, so the quality is mismatch, quality is not good. Again, we'll do the vendor returns, right? So the stock handling, when it will be happen, like when we receiving the goods itself, we will be doing some quality inspection, right? So this is the like this kind of the process also we will be following in the inventory management and control. Other than this one, so what we'll do, suppose I got some requirements, so maybe customer requirements are there or production requirements are there. So what we'll do, I have the 1,000 stock is there. Okay, so I have the multiple requirements. I have the multiple requirements. So one requirement is from the production order. Okay. And the second requirement from the is from the customer requirement. Okay. And third requirement is from the some internal cost center. What do you mean by cost center? Cost center is nothing but like a department, some HR department, finance department, marketing department, sales department, like that. So it is a department, cost center, internal cost centers. Okay, some internal usage. Okay, so when we get this 1,000 pieces, so how you can handle this product? So suppose I got the order requirement from production order, so I can distribute 200 to production order. Suppose I got customer requirement like 500, so I can distribute 500 to customer requirement. So I got some requirement from internal customers, then I can provide. So this we will call a reservations, right? When we get the stock, immediately I can reserve the stock to the my requirements. Okay, so that's the monitoring and handling. How you will be once you get the stock, how you are handling that. Okay, how you are controlling that. Okay, so this kind of the requirements also will do in the inventory management. Okay, and suppose, okay, now after that, let's say I have the 2,000 pieces. Okay, so like I have 1,000 materials. Okay, so 1,000 materials we have the 2,000 pieces. Okay, now these are the two expensive materials. Let's assume that these 1,000 pieces are two expensive materials. Okay, now we don't have any requirement, so these 2,000 pieces are there in the my location. Okay, so regularly when it is expensive item, so do you do the regular checkup or not? Regular check or not? The stock, whether the stock is available or not. Do you are you doing the regular check or not? Obviously, right? You have to do, right, because so if you see that if you go to gold shop, okay, morning how much it is they will count, and the evening when it is completed, the sales, everything it is completed, day is completed, again they will start and they count that. So have you seen that? Anyone knows about that? So the gold shop, if you go to gold merchant, they will do regular count.
Yes, sir, they will check how much today sales.
How much it is morning when we started our business. So how much stock which we are into the storage, and now how much stock storage it is there. So they will check inward and outward, right? So that we call as physical inventory. Physical inventory. So what do you mean by physical inventory? Okay, it is like a counting the stock, okay, and validating the stock with system stock and physical stock, right? So it might be regularly you are doing, or maybe you are doing weekly, or it's monthly, or it is a quarterly, or it is a yearly, off yearly. It depends on the product. Maybe if it is not expensive, I don't want to spend much time, so maybe I can do the quarterly or like yearly, right? So that will be again depends on the class, middle class. Okay, so we'll divide it like A, B, C category. Okay, so that A, B, C category will do the counting. Okay,
we have this process in SAP.
Yes, it is there.
Okay.
Okay, so that physical inventory also it will come under the inventory management and controlling. Okay, so I'm just giving the idea what we'll be doing. Okay, in the material management. Okay, what are the areas will be covered? Okay, so going forward again in the deepest way, each and every point we'll discuss. Okay, so now you understand, right? What are the areas? What are the uh, pictures? What are the things will come under the inventory management and control? Did you understand that?
Yes, sir. I have one doubt, sir.
Yeah, please.
Is that the inventory management and invoice verification is done by FI team or MM team, sir?
No, MM.
Oh.
Procurement is MM. Okay, that's what these three areas are from our end only. MM only. Okay.
Okay.
Invoice verification also it should be from MM because I'll tell you the region. Okay. But some companies, okay, some clients, the invoice verification will done by finance team. Okay. But 99.99% it should be from material management. The reason I will tell you. Okay. Okay. I will tell you the reason because so who will create the purchase order? Oh, come on. Anyone have the doubt? Anyone have the doubt? Somebody talking? No questions, right? Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, please. Who is this?
I missed you a little bit. I mean, there was some connection problem. I don't know. Could you
Okay.
please repeat?
Which point you are
there
there? What were you missing?
Invoice verification. You were telling something about invoice verification, and
Not
I
yet
got
started.
disconnected.
Invoice verification not yet started. Okay. So I'll tell you the purchasing and procurement. Obviously, it is MM. Okay. And inventory management also MM. Okay.
Okay.
Coming to invoice verification, this is also MM only. But some clients, okay, some of the clients, okay, it will go to the finance people. So finance people will be handling this invoice verification. But 99% of this will come under the MM only. The reason why, because anyone knows about that, why it is coming under MM? Do you know why it is coming under MM? Vendor invoice?
To check the details invoice like material quantity and vendor details.
Yeah. Vendor details anyway, that finance also have the information because the payments and the check and bank details, everything will be created finance team. So vendor information already with the finance team. But why the reason? Because invoice verification, the concept of the vendor invoice verification is, anyone knows about the vendor invoice verification? What is the reason? What is the concept of vendor invoice verification?
I think that whether the goods received are is right, correct or not, to check.
Okay. So verify the invoice which we received from vendor. Okay, this is the concept. Okay, vendor invoice verification is nothing but a verify the invoice which we received from vendor. Okay, so who will get the invoice? Who will get the invoice? Our company will receive the invoice from vendor. Are you agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will tell you an example. Okay, if suppose I am buying the product from Amazon, okay, so along with the product you will get the invoice as well. If suppose I am just mentioning that cash and delivery. Okay, so can I get the invoice from the Amazon, or you will creating the invoice?
No, sir. We will get invoice from Amazon.
Amazon. So it's the same concept here. Amazon is my vendor. So Amazon supplying the goods to me. So I'm ordering to the Amazon. So Amazon supplying goods to me along with the payment bill. So that invoice we call as a vendor invoice. Okay. So if you see that, okay, let's say in the purchase order, let's assume that in the purchase order, if I create a PO, the material number is A, okay, and the quantity is I received 1000 pieces. Okay, 1000 pieces. I ordered 1000 pieces, and price is as per the negotiation price with the vendor. Let's say 10 rupees per piece. Okay. Okay. So now I received a stock. I received the goods receipt. So now GR completed. So GR means goods received. Okay, we received a stock. Okay, how much we received stock? Material A we received, and quantity, if I received that, I received only 500 pieces. Okay. Now, if the finance team they are handling this one, okay, invoice, okay, so I got the invoice, okay, from the vendor. So they say that material A, it's correct, material A, but quantity they're sending like 1000 pieces. And the price they're saying that it's like 11 rupees. Is it correct or wrong?
It's incorrect.
Incorrect, right? So how they know finance team?
Okay.
Since I'm creating the purchase order, since I'm receiving the goods receipt, okay, if I am not verifying the invoice and finance team they are verifying the invoice, they will come back every time, boss, how much received, how much the price you agreed. Now I get that 11 rupees and they're saying 1000 pieces, but did you receive all? So all this verification again, there will be a two match like, okay. So the finance team will contact the material management team and they're asking each and every question. So instead of that, which we verified that, okay, okay, because even stock, if it is in case of the stock also, there was some damage is there. We know that, boss, the stock is damaged. So the invoice itself, I can reject like that, boss. You are sending this 1000 pieces of the invoice, but I received only 500 pieces. So I'm rejecting this invoice. Okay. So that's what vendor invoice always, okay, we need to be verified and material management people will be verified. Once verified, okay, in case the material management they say that, okay, the team they say that, okay, everything it looks good, okay, then what will be happen? It will go to payment. So that payment will be done by when our finance team, because they will be paying amount to the all the people, the payment related all the aspects that they will take care. So the finance team will pay the amount to vendor when you accepted the invoice. The vendor verification you completed and you confirm that, okay, the vendor invoice is correct, so please proceed for the payment. Okay, then
So,
FI team will be doing the payment. Okay?
I have a question here.
Yeah, please.
So let's say suppose in SAP do we have this functionality for rejecting the invoice that we are getting from our vendor?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
We can reject.
Okay.
Okay, so there will be like, okay, blocking the invoice. Okay, so blocking the invoice is nothing but like when there is a mismatch. Okay, so there is a mismatch with the PO quantity and the GR quantity and the price mismatch. When that will be happen, what will be happen? The invoice when you posting, even the material management people, they are mistakenly posting the invoice. Okay, that will go to the block stage.
Okay.
Okay, so they cannot directly pay amount because there was mismatch it is there. So again, you need to be approved that separately, okay, at a higher level. Boss, this is incorrect price and this is the incorrect quantity. So there is a quantity variation and the price variation it is there. So that's what this invoice is blocked. You cannot pay immediately the amount. Okay.
Okay.
So that we call three-way matching. What do you mean by
Sorry?
three-way matching? Three-way matching. Okay, so three-way matching is like a GR based IB. So what do you mean by GR based IB? As per the goods receipt, you are verifying the invoice receipt, invoice verification. As per the GR, you are doing invoice verification. That means if you received 500 pieces, you must be post for the 500 pieces only, not for 1000 pieces. Okay, so three-way match it will be like, okay, it will be comparing that PO price with invoice price and GR quantity with invoice quantity. That means when invoice is validating, they will be validating that how much the price you are agreed in the PO and how much quantity you received in the GR, that they will compare. That is the three-way matching. Yes, you're asking some question. Please.
So my next question is,
Yeah.
in sales order, okay, in SD side, whenever the flow is like this. First of all, we have to create a purchase order, then we have to create an outbound delivery, then do the PGI. Unless and until I do the PGI, I will not be able to do the invoice in
Correct.
SD.
Correct.
So in MM as well, do we have a flow like this? Like
Okay.
like
So
you have drawn.
I'll ask one question in that. Okay. So do we have the scenario like without delivery also we can post the invoice billing?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is there. It is there.
That is there, right? So in that case, in the MM also we have possible, but that is for the again settings we have. Okay. If you want to restrict the invoice without posting the GR, that you can do. Or okay, first if you want to pay amount, then after that you want to be receive the stock, you can do that. Okay, there is options. We have. We can restrict or we can proceed. Okay. Okay, but in this GR based IV three-way matching, that will not be possible.
Okay.
Okay, so again there will be like if you activate three-way matching, okay, then you should be follow like PO GR invoice. Okay, if you're not following three-way matching, okay, then in that case you can post PO first, then invoice secondary, then third you can post the goods system. Okay, but if you activate a three-way matching, then the system will not accept to create the invoice.
Okay, noted.
Okay, so basically when we're talking about the verification, invoice verification, it is not only the normal vendor invoice. We also be like create memo, subsequent debits, subsequent create, okay, cancellation, reversal. So there are so many it is there that will be handled by middle man. Okay, so basically we are defining we are looking into three areas, which is purchasing, inventory, and invoice verification. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So any questions here? What areas we are covering?
No question.
Okay. Now let's try to understand about the standard process. Okay. So okay. So I'm just going in the just theoretical part, boss. Okay. So once we started practical, again I will explain the points. Okay. So don't worry about that. If you're thinking about that a little bit speed, just let me know. I will go with some examples. We'll go slowly. Clear?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good. So now coming to the material management. Okay. So the standard business process. Okay. In case in interview point of view, if any panel, if they are asking about that, what is the standard material management business process or purchasing process? Okay. The first process is okay P2P process. You can say P2P process. Procurement to pay. Okay. So procurement to pay cycle. Okay, so this is the standard basic level. Okay, if you are the MM consultant, the basic concept is you should aware about the P2P cycle. Okay, clear? So what do you remember P2P cycle? So this procurement to pay cycle, it will be covers all the process, entire purchasing related transaction will be happen in this procurement to pay. So why it is like standard business process? Okay, why we call this standard business process, and why we have other process like special procurement process? Okay, so let's understand that. Okay, so SAP what it is done. Okay, generally in the outside, okay, most of the people how they are doing this procurement, purchasing the goods, how they are doing, what kind of the process steps they are following. Okay, that they design that Okay, generally this is the view of the purchasing cycle. Okay, so that they design like standard procurement to pay cycle. Okay, other than that, some companies they are maybe following the some special stock procurement process that they define like a special procurement process. But this P2P cycle is the normal value. Generally, how it will be happening in the outside, maybe in the smaller organization or bigger organization, what generally it will happen. Okay, so that they define here, that is a standard procurement to pay cycle. So in the SD side, if you see that, how it is like OTC, order to cash pay, right? So how it is like, here also we had a P2P cycle. Okay, so what it is started. So let's discuss the point to point here. Okay, so procurement to pay. So if you want to buy any product, so where exactly it is started? The initial point where it is exactly started.
Requirement of material.
Yes, requirement of the material. So that means what exactly you need. What exactly you need, right? If suppose if I'm started small restaurant, okay, the starting point is what exactly it is required for me to start my business. Okay, so what exactly you need. Okay, so here when you're thinking about here, okay, what exactly you need. So where you get, where is the source point here? Where is the source point here? So where exactly you get the point needs, how you'll get, how you know that it is required from the different departments. So suppose in my home, okay, from from my mother, I will get the all kitchen related needs, which is from my brother, I'll get all which is business related. My father, which I need all like medical related or maybe medical expenses related, medicines related, all will get. From my sisters, maybe I will get some needs of the which is like for education, right? So here, when we talking about the you needs, okay, it will get from the different departments, maybe from the cost centers, okay, or from the sales department,
Production team.
production team, okay, plant maintenance team, okay, project systems team, okay, then we'll get from the human resource department, okay, HR team, okay, or maybe we'll get from the what else stage like we can say stores, right? This is very important, right? Stores, or we can say warehouse, right? So the needs will get from the different departments. Okay, so when you get these all things, what points we need to be check here, where exactly it is required, where exactly it is required. So suppose I have 10 plants, 10 branches are there. Okay, Hyderabad branch it is there. Okay, or it may Mumbai branch it is there. Okay, Pune branch it is there. Okay, Bangalore it is there. Okay, so like different branches are there. So where exactly it is required, the requirement where exactly it is required, is it from Hyderabad, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore? So that location, so that we call plant. Okay, so we can say plant or we can say site. Okay, so in the retail industry they will call as a site, and the normal manufacturing industry they will call it a plant. Okay, so in case if it is like store also they will call, sometimes they will call as a store also. Okay, some people like they can say DC. Okay, so distribution centers, from distribution centers to stores. Okay, so depends, it is depends on the industry, they can call as a different namings. So okay, so I got from the Hyderabad, let's assume that I got it from Hyderabad. So what next?
quantity.
Before quantity, what actually you require? What actually you required?
The
That is
raw
a material
material.
number. That is a material number. Because if I see that cost center, sales department, production, it's not the same material, right? Maybe different materials I will get the requirement, right? So the identification here is the material number also. So what actually you required? What material you required? Okay, so material A, material B, material C, T. Okay, what I said, like kitchen items like laptop or maybe medicines or maybe food related items, all these things, right? Different materials. The next one is, so what and where. So two things it is completed. Then what next? Just now you said, right? How much quantity is required? How much quantity you require for this material? So that we call the quantity. Okay. How much you required? So the next one, last one. Just think about that.
Quotation, sir.
Sorry?
Quotation. We'll raise quotation for that.
Quotation next, but we're still in the discussion only. Still, okay. We didn't discuss about to whom we need to place. Okay, that was secondary. But the first thing is, okay, we are still discussing on what requirement it is. What is our required? So the next one is, what is that? When it is required. Because suppose if I'm planning to that, if I have some marriage function is there, okay, if it is on 14th, okay, suppose let's assume that 14th is my planning, so there is a wedding anniversary, it is there, I'm planning to buy this product and for wedding anniversary on 14th. If you don't have that plan when it is required, if I'm getting on 15th, there is no use. So when it is required also, it is very important. So that is called delivery date. That is called delivery date. So if you need to create the requirement, okay, what exactly requirement, you need this information. Basic information is what material it is required, when it is required, how much it is required, where exactly it is required. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you have this information, you can create that the requirement, because they'll simply say, boss, I need only this material. Can you get this material? Boss, okay, I'll get it material, but how much you want? When you required? Okay. So if they say that, okay, just material number, they're saying this material which is required. If you don't know that the plan, where it is required and when it is required, how much it is required, so they will escalate tomorrow. Boss, still I didn't get the stock. Why it is delaying? So you didn't say that when it is required. I can get after 10 days, 20 days. So there is no use, right? So obviously, okay, when you get the requirements, okay, that requirements itself, you need to be clear about that, how much it is required, when it is required, where it is required, what material it is required. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So that we will be creating in the purchasing requisition. When you got this information, that will be creating as a purchase requisition. So this purchase requisition can be created by store people or warehouse people, or if they have all the access, these people, they can directly create purchase requisition. Okay. So because that's the reason this is an internal document. We call as an internal document. What do you remember that? This is an internal document. Why we calling as an internal document?
Because we are not giving this document, we are not sending these details to vendor or clients. Just we are.
So this is the internal discussing document. This document we are never sharing to any of the vendors. Okay, that's the reason here in this case, it is not necessary to discuss about the vendor. It's not mandatory to discuss on the vendor. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why we calling as a purchase requisition. So in MM material management level, we have only one internal document, that is the purchasing requisition document. Okay, so this document will never go to outside. It is only internal purpose. So they can modify tomorrow. They can until it is processed for next process. Okay, you can modify this purchase requisition, how much it is required, and okay, and you can change the dates and you can change where exactly it is required. You can delete the line items, all these things. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next process. Okay, now I got that requirement, what exactly it is required, how much it is required, everything I got it. What is next step? The step 2 is, so here we can say simply, simple understanding purpose. I'm just saying that identification of requirement. Identification of requirement. Okay, in SAP language, we can say purchase requisition. Okay, clear? Now I'm going with the step 2. As a part of the procurement to pay cycle, this is the first step. What is that? Identification of the requirement. Okay, the next step, step 2. What is the step 2? So I got all the information. Now the step 2, what do you mean by step 2?
Identify the vendor.
Yeah, so identification of source of supply. So source of supply or vendor or supplier, all it is the same. Okay, don't confuse on that. Clear? Source of supply or vendor or supplier, all it is the same. Okay. So as a part of this identification of source of supply, okay, if suppose, how you will get this information, vendor? So how you will be identify the vendor? How you will be identify the vendor?
We'll raise quotations, sir, so that if any vendor is having that goods or a material, they will reply for that.
Yeah. So here there is a two cases here. Okay, vendor known or vendor unknown. Okay, vendor known is nothing but like if suppose the supplier is my regular vendor. Okay, for this product, he is my regular vendor. Okay, so I have done all the agreements and outline agreements, contracts, everything which I have. I have all information, it is there. The price information, everything it is there. He is my regular vendor, so I can directly raise the order. Okay, so when I know the vendor, I don't need to find the again supplier. Okay, in case if I don't know vendor unknown, so that means I don't know who is my supplier. They're supplying these goods. Okay, so in that case, what we'll do, okay, we'll going with the quotation process. Okay, to go with the quotation process, here what we'll do, we'll create first RFQ, request for quotation. So in the sales side, how you'll be creating the sales quotation, right? So the same way here, request for quotation. So what do you mean by request for quotation? Okay, we are creating that. Yeah.
Yeah, we are asking a vendor to give quotation for that material.
Yeah, so we are preparing the document, external document. Okay, because the vendor also don't know, right, what you require, right? So that we are preparing as a request for quotation. Okay, we are preparing this request for quotation. This request for quotation is preparing by ourselves. How you will be creating? How you will be creating this request for quotation? With reference of where is the requirement?
Purchase request.
Purchase requisition. So request for quotation is nothing but like we are preparing that one document, okay, to sending this information to vendor, okay, with reference of purchase requisition, what exactly it is required. So I'm saying in here in the request for quotation, I need material number, okay, A, okay, 1000 pieces, and my requirement is on 15th or can say 20th March 2023. Okay, then it is like a Hyderabad branch. Okay, so this information which we created, and we are sending this information to vendors, multiple vendors. Like we have the society, we have different vendors, right? So we have the list of the suppliers list. So we are sending to all. So to identify the best vendor. Okay. So here, along with this information, there is a one important information is there. In the
So
RFQ, along with this information, there is a another information it is there. What is that information? What is that information? That is the quotation deadline. Quotation deadline, because see, I need 20th March 2023, right? Okay, I cannot wait to vendor response, okay, till 20th, right? Because my requirement itself, it is March 20th. I need to get the March before March 20th. I need to get the stock. That means I should be have some quotation deadline. So I just waiting for that, boss. You should respond before 15 2023 March 2023. Okay, so if I get that response, so based on what I have received the quotations, I can compare, I can raise the order. Okay, if I'm getting this quotation on 28th, there is no use because it's already my requirement date is already gone. So 28th, if I order that, how you can get my stock on that time? So the quotation deadline also is very important. So you got the point why we are doing this quotation deadline?
Yes, sir. I got it.
I have a question here.
Yeah, please.
So RFQ, right? Request for quotation.
Yeah.
Can we create standalone RFQ, or it has to be always created with reference to PR only?
No, we can create with to reference to PR, or directly you can create, or we can create with outline agreements. Okay, so we can directly create. So you do you know that bidding process? Open bidding. How many people know open bidding?
Yes, sir, I know.
What do you mean by open bidding?
Like someone will there will be some price, sir. Other person will be asking, and some other will ask like some amount increase by increasing.
No, that's different. That's open bidding is different. Okay, see, suppose in the government, let's say, there is a police quarter is there. So there are so many vehicles they are seized from last 2 years. Okay, so one day they are planning to sell these all to the contractors. Okay, so they're calling all the contractors for bidding. Okay, so then they will start to selling that goods, that vehicles to the particular contracts. Or might be you can, if you want one more example, let's say I'm planning to construct a building, 5 floors building. Okay, so there are so many builders out there. So I'm just calling like, boss, so this is my plan. Okay, so can you send me your quotation? So whoever they're sending to me best quotation, I can give this opportunity to build a construction building. Okay, is it correct? Do you know that the process or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Like
so
like
builders are,
RTO
so
only.
many builders are there outside, so many builders are there. Okay, so we're just calling like a bidding like, boss, this is the our planning, so this is the site, so we are planning that okay, I need 5 floors of building, so can you construct this one? So what is the budget for this one? Okay, how much you can charge to buy, to build that? Okay, so if I'm suppose the person vendor A is say that 10 lakhs rupees, and vendor B is saying that to 15 lakhs. Okay, then obviously I can go with 10 lakhs because it's 5 lakhs difference it is there, right? Right.
Yes, sir.
So here also the same way. So they will be sending that, okay, request for quotation. This they will be sending that multiple vendors, and they're saying that okay, this is the deadline. So on before 15th, whatever we are getting the quotation, that only we accepted. So if it is crossing that 15 March, we will not be accepting that. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
So any questions here? Any questions, Yogesh? And
No, not from my side.
okay, okay. So then let's assume that okay that deadline which is reaching okay on 15th. So multiple vendors like A and B and C vendors which we are sending the same this is RFQ. Now I got the quotation. So what information it is there in quotation? What information it is there in the quotation?
The vendor will mention that how much price he can supply for the company.
Yeah. So the price information will be there. Other than this one, there will be a freight charges. Okay, and there will be like payment terms. Okay, and there will be incoterms. Okay, and there will be like okay other conditions like discount, surcharges, all this information, all pricing techniques will be there. Because if suppose the person here he's saying that boss I can give that it is like a 10 rupees only. Okay, but it will be like 10% freight charges are there. Plus there will be a 10% labor charges is there. Plus there will be a 10% packing charges are there. Then what is the use? Right? So if the B person is saying that, okay, he is saying that 20 rupees, okay, plus there is no freight charges and there is no other charges, but he is providing that like 1% discount they are providing. So then I can say like it's minus because I'm getting discount, right? So the factors, the effective price also we need to be considered here. Clear? So all this information we are maintaining in the quotation.
So
Is
I
it
have a
clear?
question here.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
So if I'm not mistaken, the Incoterms basically defines the liability of the goods whenever they are in the transit mode, right?
Mhm.
So my
Incoterms
question.
actually, Incoterms it will be it's a information purpose, but other than that, you also need to be mentioned that what is the cost of that in the condition, pricing condition. Because in case if you maintaining Incoterms, based on Incoterms, you need to be write a logic as well. If suppose they're saying that the freight which is applicable, okay, that freight cost also it's mandatory to update it. So that development you should do. Okay, basically the payment terms and Incoterms is the information purpose. Okay, but along with this one, you also need to maintain the proper condition type.
So, but my question is, okay, so
Yeah.
what is the impact of Incoterms in SAP? So let's say, for example, if my Incoterm is FOR, freight on road, okay,
Okay.
that means, let's say, suppose my vendor will be delivering goods to my warehouse, and it takes around, for example, 3 days of transit time. Okay.
Okay.
And let's say suppose during that time,
Mhm.
somehow my goods got stolen, or the delivery vehicle.
So here
Uh,
again, the stolen you are saying, right? So again here,
yeah.
okay, in the Incoterms as well, there will be insurance related also it is there. Okay, so that means insurance cost freight got both to living by vendor or this insurance will be charges from the our company. Okay, that also information will be there in the Incoterms. Okay, so
But do
majorly
we?
this Incoterms when you are maintaining, okay, as I said, when you're maintaining this Incoterm, okay, you also need to be maintain the condition. In this condition, okay, you also need to maintain the insurance and the cost freight.
Okay.
Okay, then only if you already paid insurance, then you can claim that whatever it is happened, the stolen.
Okay.
Okay, so as a part of this Incoterms, that's why. So this Incoterms is the information. Along with this one, you also need to be controlling the conditions.
So based on Incoterms, we will be paying the charges to our vendor. That is what you are saying.
Yeah, even to vendor as well, maybe, or it may be customs, or it may be insurance company, whatever it may
Oh.
be. The Incoterms is just information. Okay, it is highlighting that clearly in the document. It is clearly saying that if it is Incoterms, okay, if I say that insurance, okay, insurance will be paid by our company. Okay, freight cost. The freight cost will be paid from my company. Okay, transport. It's transport. It is paying by vendor. So that information will be there.
Okay.
Okay. So then what will be happen when they are sending these goods? They will be pay the insurance and they will be pay the freight cost and they will be pay the transport cost. That again they will be charged in the our conditions. Clear?
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So once this quotation is completed, okay, now what we'll do? Once I just maintained all the vendors, okay, let's say C vendor, I didn't get that on time, only AB I got, then I can say what I just comparing that, price comparison. Okay, so when price comparison is happening, okay, you just need to be selected whether you want to be select only base price or effective price. That means entire all it should be calculated or only for the base price. Okay, clear? So this price comparison, when the system is comparing all these vendors, it will give that rank 1, rank 2. Okay, and you have the options like if you want to reject from here itself, you can reject the quotation. Clear? Is it clear? Any questions here?
Yes, sir. But I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
In this quotation, like a quotation agreement list,
Yeah.
when the vendor raises the quotation, means automatically the system will shows the best vendor, like best price.
Yeah, in comparison, price comparison it will do.
Okay.
Not immediately. You have to be run the price comparison screen.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, because when all the vendors you updated, you don't know, right? We even system also don't know, right? Because we have 10 vendors are there. Whether you are providing for all the 10 vendors or it is only you are providing 5 vendors. How many you got? That information the SAP don't know, right? That information you have to provide, right? So
Okay.
once you done all the updates, then you have to go with the price comparison.
Okay. Okay. Sir.
Okay, so now here based on here rank 1, rank 2, you can accept that. Okay, I got some best vendor. Okay, and then you can select that this vendor will be going forward creating the orders. Okay, might be for this requirement you can go ahead, or it might be you can go keep on, you can proceed for with the same vendor. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now step 2 and step 1. So step 1 is identification of the requirement and the step 2 is identification of the source of supply. So generally if you want to create a purchase order, what information it is required? So the next step is I got the information like, okay, step 3. So generally if you want to raise the order to the vendor, okay, what information is required? You need material number, okay, how much quantity is required, when it is required, where it is required, and who will be sending these goods, right? That means supplier, right? So to create a purchase order, basically this information it is required. So did you got all this information or not? You got all now.
Yes,
You
sir,
got a material number, quantity, when and where. So all it is required, all it is information we require. So basically material number, quantity, and plant, and delivery date, and vendor. Okay, so these are the basically we need the information to create the order. Okay, so in the P2P cycle, the first step is identification of requirement, the second step is source of supply, the third step is purchase order creation. Okay, So again, in the sub level, okay, a few identification of source of supply, again, the process steps will be different. This is the first step, second step, and third step. Okay. And here the purchase order creation order. Okay. So you'll be creating that. Okay. If you have the multiple delivery dates, you can create with multiple delivery dates. Okay. And if you have the partners are there, suppose let's say a main vendor is different and the supplier are different, and where invoice raising department is different, freight vendor is different, then you can maintain a multiple partners also you can define. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So I'm creating a purchase order with all this information and I'm sending this information to vendor. Okay. So how you'll be sending this information to vendor, even here in the RFQ level also, how you are sending this information to vendor. Okay. That is a separate topic. It is output determination. Okay. So there is output determination. Okay. So how you are sending this information to vendor through mail or fax or it is like okay, a print, okay, like IDOC, EDI, okay. So that information will be there here in the output determination. So again, medium, that will be a medium, how you are selecting that, okay. So you can convert the PDF convert instead of print, you can convert to PDF as well, and you can send that, okay. Okay, so this information you are sending to vendor. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Then keep going with that. Next, it's a PO monitoring. So what do you mean by PO monitoring? What do you mean by PO monitoring? So once you're sending this information to vendor, you are just following to the vendor. So did you get a acknowledgement, order acknowledgement or not? Because on time delivery, we just need to be follow up, right? Because if we didn't get that on time, then maybe my customer deliveries are impacted. So we just following that. So we just trying to see that whether we got a order acknowledgement or not. Okay. And we get the confirmation from the vendor or not. Okay. And when we are planning this inbound delivery, so based on that, I can plan for inbound delivery. Okay, based on confirmation, I can plan for inbound delivery. So that will be in the monitoring part. Okay, so reminders, you can just send the reminders to the vendors. Okay, all these things will be come under the PO monitoring. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Then let's assume that I am receiving the stock from the vendor. Okay, so then I will do the goods receipt. Again, in the goods receipt, when we receiving that, I need to check that whether the same material which I received, how much quantity I received, whether I received on time, okay, my requirement time it is received or not, and okay, how much if it is excess quantity or shortage quantity, what is the conditions here, okay. So all these things will be validating here goods receipt level. Okay, as we discussed again, quality inspection, block check, and two-step procedure. All these things will come under the goods receipt. Okay, so I'm not going in the depth here. Just overview giving that. Okay, then let's assume that I'm receiving the goods receipt, and I will go for the verification. So I received the invoice that I'm just checking here. Okay, whether I received correctly the stock and I received based on the price which we agreed here. Okay, all just we're comparing this one, the vendor invoice. So that we discussed, right? What we are validating here, everything, right? Quantity and price, everything which we are validating here. Okay. So if there is any variance is there, so price variance or it may be quantity variance. Okay. So that will be go again block stage. Then again we have to be approval from higher end. Okay. Okay, that will come under the invoice. Let's assume that everything is good, then they can process for the payment. Okay, so this is payment request. They will process. Once the finance team they are processing this payment, okay, then automatically the bank account the amount will be debit and credit into the winner account. Okay, so the processing payment here. So that is a process like here P2P cycle. Okay, it will be start with the purchase requisition and ending with the payment. So that is called entire cycle. This is the entire cycle, procurement to pay cycle. Okay, so I'll just share you one minute. See here. So it will be start like, okay, determination of the requirement, identification of the requirement, then source determination and vendor selection, then PO processing, PO monitoring, codes receipt, invoice receipt, verification, and payment processing. So this is the complete cycle. Okay. So this is the basic concept of the P2P cycle, procurement to pay cycle. Okay. So again, if you go to see here, again, that's the sub-levels like requisition, okay, we'll create a request, and it will go to approval. Approved by a group will be creating RFQs, then comparing all the sheets and selecting the vendor, then PO preparation, then PO verification, then PO release, then it will go to vendor. Okay, we'll get information from the vendor that dispatches the stock, then we'll do the GR. Okay, then again it will be invoice, then payables. So this is the entire cycle. Okay, the approval strategy line. Okay, so this is the basic procurement process steps. Okay, so if in interview point of view, if they are asking about that, so you need to be explain these steps. Clear?
Yes,
Clear?
sir.
Any other questions here?